Assalamu alaikum, Priya Doshok. You're watching Business Talk, and my name is Sufi. And this is the program you need to watch. This show is all about business, finding out about the successful people in our community. And firstly, I'm sorry for the delay. We started the show for some reason for technical fault. So we started with 10 minutes delay. Sorry about that. And today we have a special guest in our show, and we're talking about today about banquet hall, banquet venue, and we want to know why the banquet venue is a profitable business, or is it the right way to move forward in our community? Because we have enough banquet hall and people still getting more banquet halls doing the business. So I have two special guests who's here with me. First guest was again from Region Lake, after Region Lake Banquet Hall. Aziz Bhai from Region Lake, Managing Director. Assalamu alaikum. And we also have Shalim Bhai on this side, Shalim Bhai from Region Lake. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Business Talk. But it's obviously we start a bit delay and after the Washington Donnabat the nice Shomodi Balagi. Just want to ask you, Aziz Bhai Afnare, the question is basically, why did you start doing the banquet hall? Afne kuno banquet shomade ani venue shomade zanonni jokhon apni start korchila?
Well, actually, when we started the banqueting, it was all coincidental. It wasn't actually planned. I was doing my first year of my master's degree.
Okay.
And my brother-in-law, who's a businessman in his own right, he found a place and asked us to look into it. And when we saw it, we fell in love with the place. And
okay.
And thereafter, we kind of looked into what we could do with that place. It was a small place. I mean, he's in the restaurant business, so when I saw it, I thought,
who was in the restaurant business?
My brother-in-law, Shahid, he's from Crawley, and he's a successful businessman there. He's got the Buddha Belly, the brand.
So he's in the catering business.
That's right. He's been there pretty much all his life. And I've never been interested in business. I didn't want to do restaurant business or anything like that. I've got my academic side, and it's, as I said, it's coincidental. I saw the place, I fell in love with it, and although I was doing my studies, I said, you know what, I would love to be involved with that. And that's how I got involved. Initially, it was our brother-in-laws, myself and my two other brother-in-law. So it's like a family business. That's how it started.
So, can I research for you? Have you done
of course.
Research anything?
My God, the research element. I mean, because from academic side, research is what I do. I did a lot of research because obviously I didn't want to take a massive risk like this without knowing what I'm getting myself into. So I had to research about what is a venue business, what does it comprise of, the risk to it, all the nitty-gritties basically. I did do a lot of research. First and foremost was about looking into how many banqueting venue was around in a city, London, and in particular Tower Hamlets. And my research told me was there was very few at that time. Literally, there were very few venues, and when we used to hire halls for our family weddings and stuff like that, it was hard finding a hall, hard finding a date, and it was always like it's booked. So I thought, it's definitely a right business to get into at that time.
Okay, so basically you're saying to me it's on that time. How long ago have you started doing that Region Lake?
Regent's Lake was born in June 2012. We opened our doors pretty much in June, or in the summer of 2012. So it's been 1.5 years, alhamdulillah. We've been running the show, alhamdulillah, very successfully. So it's nearly 2 years now.
2 years now, okay.
Yeah, so we've got a good grasp of the business now. And remember one thing, we've never been involved in venue business. None of us have.
None of us.
It was a new venture, completely new, like a new playing field for us. So every day was new to us.
Okay.
In terms of everything from the basic customer dealing, from negotiating the prices and how to set up a venue or how do we do it. All of that was completely new to us. We were like, every day was a new day for us.
So any of your partner, have they worked in the restaurant, any kind of catering?
Oh yes, of course. All my partners, except for my immediate brother-in-law, who's our other managing director, Mr. Safi Alam. Us two, we're local boys, both in Bethnal Green. And we've never owned a business in that sense. But my other partners, my other brother-in-law who's from Crawley, they've got the whole life of restaurant business, buffet business and restaurant, pretty much, and some property businesses as well.
Basically all the stuff. Shalim Bhai, let me ask you a question then. What is your role in Region Lake?
Well, basically I look after the catering side.
Okay.
I do have quite a good long experience in catering, especially in wedding caterings. So as soon as they came into the market, obviously my friends, a couple of my friends involved with them as well. So they wanted my help. So
Okay.
It's actually
it's very coincident.
it's a
the
very
how-
interesting
Yeah.
story how Shelimbai got involved
Okay,
with us.
let's
And-
hear it. Yeah.
Right, it's very interesting. He just came back from Bangladesh, right? And the friend that knew him, in that they didn't see each other for a long time. And that friend is one of our partners. And now he was obviously looking for him because he was been in the wedding industry. He practically started the wedding catering industry, and he's been in it for the last 20 years.
Okay, so
Our partner was looking for him because they're friends, because we're doing a venue in London and he wanted his help. And that day he was in Bangladesh. So by the second he landed, pretty much the next day we found him. He got in touch with him. Coincidentally, he was there, and and then he came over to see the venue, and we just basically asked him, "Can you please help us? We're setting up this new venue. We don't know nothing about business in the wedding industry. Please help us," basically. And Shelimbai said, "Okay, let me give you some time. I'll give you help." And basically, from then onward, we built a very strong relationship with Shelimbai. And now he's appointed our catering. He's in charge of the whole catering department of Regent's Lake.
so who actually? So you don't cook the food basically. You just look after the site, or do you give them recipe how to? Because you're
Technically, I do
I've been
look
to your-
after.
I've been to your venue a couple of times, and or many times actually, and your food is obviously totally different than others, and you're always trying to do your best. But what was the secret of that? I mean, is that any kind of secret stuff you use, or recipe?
Obviously, we have our own secret recipes. We try our best to make the best possible food. But we do have a couple of chefs here. But overall, I look into it.
Okay.
So all the spice and everything, whatever goes into it, I basically personally I look into it. Then everything goes in there.
I mean, I
So,
told him
yeah.
the consultant, our catering consultant, he actually oversees the whole operation. And the difference between us and perhaps other catering businesses is that we are actually very innovative. We are looking into a service or a product, and we're looking how we can improve that, make it better, and give a customer a unique product to sell. Yeah, the way I see it is everyone's trying to do the same thing. How can we be different to others? And this is the thing that we are interested in. How can we be different to others, and how we can make our product to the market and get people to buy it. Yeah. So a lot of dishes that we have created, we've actually created a lot of dishes from completely new, and we're trying to sell that. And you know what? Customers are taking that on. Do you see?
Do you think because you got a banquet hall venue in your own self and you do catering both, does that help? Or
oh my God, it's absolutely, because let me tell you, we're probably one of the very few, I'm not going to say that the only, very few banqueting venue that has its own in-house catering company. And there's so much advantage to the consumer, the customer, because they don't now need to go to 2, 3, 4 different companies to get the wedding arrangements. They can come to one place, i.e. the venue, and from there they have the catering, they have the venue, and they are working integratingly. And obviously from one place, if they get everything, it's such a stress-free wedding. Because wedding, don't forget, is very stressful for both sides.
Very stressful for both sides. I mean,
Yeah.
someone's getting married and it's a very, very risky business. I mean, many of my friends actually in the similar kind of business, but I always think it's a very risky business because you make one mistake and you are ruining someone's whole
Special
life,
day.
a special day. Yeah. So, how do you, if something goes wrong, how do you overcome on that? Like,
it's a very critical question. The good thing about Regent's Lake is we're quite unique in the sense that, there's lots of things that make us different and unique from our competitors and other businesses. One of the key things is, firstly, I say is Shelimbai. Shelimbai brings with him 20 years of the wedding industry business, right? Now, that is invaluable, yeah? He practically taught us how this thing works, this venue business, this catering business works. So, and within that time, very short time, we actually developed very quickly and understanding what customers want, what they need, how we can improve that. And the thing you said about the technical problems and issues going wrong, when you have a very strong management in place in any business, right, they have contingencies where when things go wrong, what do we do and how do we best respond to those things? So for example, we have an earpiece on. We're all controlling, we're all communicating. Yes, absolutely. So communication is very vital. So we're always communicating throughout the whole day. The catering company and us, we're always communicating to work out how we're doing this, how we're doing that, what's happening, is the food ready, is this, you see, so we work it integratingly, and because of that, we're always in communication, we can address any issue, any problem, hit it face on, you see.
I mean, is there anything, obviously you've been experienced for 2 years now.
Nearly 2
and
years.
I know Shalimba has been nearly 20 years, probably worked in the catering business for many years. So how do you find fast here? How was, because obviously you are the one who's faced the customer. Maybe Shalimba is behind the scene. Yeah. So sometimes behind the scene, even though he's got a risky, hard job, but you have to face the customer. So
the face of
what was your difficult thing you faced?
I think in every business, especially in a customer service business, which we are, we serve 600 guests a function, averagely. So we have to practically satisfy 600 people, at one go. But customers can be very difficult. You can have very nice customers. You can have very difficult customers. You can have very, everyone's different. Customers there's differences within them as well. So you have to adjust yourself to accommodate that customer need. Yeah. So everyone has different needs, different requirements, and different attitudes or different ways of thinking. So you have to adjust yourself to basically go into their world as well, because they will want certain thing differently, and you will say no, that doesn't make sense. But you have to adjust yourself, adjust your speech, adjust your way of thinking to fit within their framework. You see, so you have to use a lot of psychology there as well with the customers in order to understand them and to see what they want and how to basically communicate that to them. Because communication, by the way, is very important when you're dealing with one-to-one customer service, and you have to understand what they want, where they're coming from, their background, the budget they have, and that's another big issue is budget. Everyone has a different budget. How do you accommodate for everyone?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do you overcome with the competition? Because as I said before the show start, there is, because we work in the TV, we know how many people comes to us for the advert, and they're opening banquet. There's so many banquet venues opening, and even so many people comes to me and say, let's invest money with me, and is banquet venue left, right, center, we can say, it's happening everywhere. So
you raise a very valid point, When we were in the research mode phase of our business, I did a very extensive research. When I went in different areas and different groups and in different crowds, I used to talk about banqueting. Not that I was opening it, I used to talk about banqueting generally, just to get people's feedback and say, I want to open it. This is very interesting. Because it's a prestigious business, by the way, and it's not something where everyone can open it, because you need a lot of capital to get in. And not only that, you need a big place. Unfortunately, London is so cramped. There's very few spaces left big enough for a banquet. Do you see? Because London, the square foot, the expense of a square foot in London is, it's amazingly high compared to other places.
Because especially for Bangladeshi community or Asian community, we can say, when we go to the wedding, we need to have the car parking. It's very important. For English mancholag is not very important. No. But for us, Indian people or Asian people, it's important to have the car park and things, those kind of stuff. So I know you need a lot of money. So when you opened your hall in Bow, which is in the Bow,
Bowolf,
What was that tract? What was sold to you?
The first thing,
because you said you loved that place.
Oh, no, I fell in love with it because remember, this is a building, a very beautiful building, no less. It's on the bank of the lake, the Regis Canal Lake, So literally, you're in the junction of the Hertford Union Canal and the Regis Canal, and you're in the junction of those two canals. So when I saw the place, it's by the lake. And basically, when you stand in front in the venue, you've been there. It's by the window. You by the water. You can actually see the water. So it's amazing. And in front of it is the park, Wellington Green Park. So when I saw it, it was beautiful. But obviously, automatically, you think, how do people come to venues with a car? And fortunately, very fortunately, alhamdulillah, I have to say that we had a small plot of land adjacent to our venue, attached to our venue, and that accommodates for about 40 cars.
That's not bad.
And that in our business, that became a part of our business, basically building. So that was exclusively ours, and we don't have to share it with anyone. So that became a very plus point. And that's one thing I said when we were discussing buying, doing this business. Is car park is essential for this business. And the good thing, we've got a car park, even though it's 40 is more than enough for an inner city venue, because other venues in the inner city, they have zero. There's a fact, because as I said, the inch of land in London is very expensive. You can't find car
Aziz
park.
Bhai, sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you. We're going to take a short break.
Sure.
Because we start show late, so I'd like to show my
That's
phone.
fine, that's fine.
So, Darshak, stay tuned with us. We'll be back after the break, and we'll be talking to Aziz Bhai and Shalim Bhai about Region Lake and Banquet Venue সম্বন্ধে আপনারা যদি খরতা চান কেউ কোনো question থাকে, you can always ring us on the studio and you can talk to us. So don't go away, stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum.